We all sort of knew it, but Fabrizio Romano has confirmed Gyokeres' move this summer. He will leave Sporting. He's also given an update on Cherki and what clubs are in for him. Premier League move looking the most likely. What do we know on Gyokeres to Manchester United? Could Manchester United be about to beat Arsenal to Victor Gyokeres? Reports coming out that Manchester United have made a surprise 55 or 54.6 £1 million bid for Mbeumo. And all I'm going to say is if we can get Cunha, Gyokeres and Mbeumo, that front three is ridiculous. Other updates on Eze and Mbeumo interest as well, other sources confirming interest, more news and updates on Leny Yoro and more. So, hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to another live Manchester United news, transfer news, and update show where we're going to round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. And wow, there's some big news, some big stories today, so let's get into it. So, Romano said this on Gyokeres. He will leave Sporting. He's confirmed Gyokeres will move. He said for 50 to 55 million. You have to go for that. Gyokeres, 100 goals in 2 seasons for 50 to 55 million. You have to do that. Keep an eye on this one. In the next days and weeks, United and Arsenal are strongly interested. Now, Arsenal were the favourites for Gyokeres, we know that. But he's going to leave. Romano's confirmed the move. He's going to be available for 50 to 55 million pounds, which is an absolute steal. United have to go for that. And I believe United will go for that. But I believe United are playing it down because they probably think Arsenal are going to win that race. But if we win the Europa League, it could change. Romano then tweeted, despite public statements, Victor Gyokeres will leave Sporting this summer with a fee already agreed. The package is worth around 65 million euros and can be enough to get the green light from Sporting. Blah, 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 blah. There's discussions going on with top European clubs. Romano keeps name dropping Man United and Arsenal. Now, United, some reports say we're more focused on Delap, but Delap is the priority. If we win the Europa League, Gyokeres becomes the priority because we know it's more financially doable and it's more possible. So what do we know on Gyokeres to United? So now Romano has confirmed his move, and we knew he was leaving Sporting, but Romano has confirmed that. We now know that Arsenal are seen as the favourites, but despite what Tier 5 sources are saying, there's no agreement, there's nothing advanced. Some sources said there's agreement, some sources said the deal's advanced, but they're not David Ornstein and they're not Romano. They're your crappy sources making things up for clicks. They just said that Arsenal have a strong interest, Berta likes him, Arsenal and leading the race. What we do know is that Gyokeres and Amorim have a very good relationship. Some sources, again, not the most credible, did say that Gyokeres gave his word to Amorim that he would come to United. But these sources weren't tier 1, like the same sources saying Gyokeres to Arsenal agreed. They just want a bit of clicks. The problem is Gyokeres wants Champions League football, and we will know that in 3 days' time if we have Champions League football. And it's financially possible. We would easily pay 50 million on Gyokeres if we got Champions League football, and he's more likely to choose Manchester United. The problem with Gyokeres is he'll be 27, so he's not a 22-year-old that can wait 3 years for Man United to be at the top to succeed. He wants Man United at the top now. He wants to challenge at the top now, and it makes more sense for him to go to Arsenal, sadly, despite Amorim and him having a relationship. But if we get UCL football, we will provide competition to Arsenal. Arsenal also have interest in Sesko, but apparently they prefer Gyokeres. It'll be an interesting one because Gyokeres will be cheaper than Sesko. And right now, Man United, the last thing we should do is get Sesko, spend 70 million on a young striker that might struggle in the Prem, whereas Gyokeres is ready-made. He's played under Amorim. So Romano says the Premier League moves most likely for Gyokeres. It's Man United and Arsenal right now, but it could massively depend on winning the Europa League. Continuing on, so I was reading One Football and it was said by the People's Person that Manchester United submitted a bid for Brentford star Bryan Mbuemo. And I said, this is interesting because I can't see us making a bid for anybody yet, but I do know we like Mbeumo, so I gave it a read. Manchester United have made a 54.6 million offer for Mbeumo, same price as Gyokeres. Gyokeres and Mbeumo for £110 million, considering we'll get 95 million from selling Sancho, Rashford and Antony. A bit unreal bit of business. It's what every Manchester United fan has been waiting for. So, Mbeumo is highly rated by the club's recruitment team. Brentford's stance is unclear, but recent reports suggest they want 60 million to sell, which I'd pay. Negotiations could hinge on closing the 5 million gap between the offer and asking price, but it then said this was reported by Facheas. Now, I like One Football, I like the People's Person, but I don't particularly like Facheas. And this information is coming from Facheas. Unless we hear something from Romano and Ornstein in the next few days, it's probably unlikely to be true. Now, some reliable sources have said we like Mbeumo, we're in the race for Mbeumo, but the focus is Cunha. I think because we're so close to getting Cunha, our chances of getting Mbeumo and Cunha would massively depend on Champions League football and if we miss out on a striker. Now, I want Manchester United to sign Mbeumo. I'm all over it. I think that we have interest there. We've had talks there. There's a lot of clubs interested in Mbeumo, but I'm not sure if we've made a bid. I think we would know if we have made a bid. But if we have made a bid, go United. Go make a bid. Go at now. Liverpool have got Frimpong in. Man City are making offers for Wirtz and Reinders. You know, go make a bid. Go get a deal done. That's what I say to United. It's a lot of competition. Go make that bid. You said we could bring in 2 signings without having to sell early in the window, so go for Mbeumo. I'd rather Mbeumo than Delap, despite needing a striker more. I just think he's a better player. Why would Mbeumo be great? 25 years of old, in his prime, been a good player in the league for a while. I did a video last year on Mbeumo and why when he was available for 40 million and why it could be a bargain signing. He's been consistent in the Premier League for 3 seasons now without for Brentford. 3rd most goals and assists after Eze and Salah at Brentford. Been playing playing a 3 at the back system. That's what he does for Brentford. He's even played wing back in the past, but is definitely better in the right 10 position. Could play striker, could play wing back if needed. He's first in the Premier League for ground covered, and he could be available for 55 to 60 million pounds. A player in their prime, a player that is getting 30 goal contributions in the Premier League. And Mbeumo and Cunha have more goal contributions combined than Manchester United have goals this season in the Premier League. You know, 55, 60 million, 25 in his prime, can play the system. And Mbeumo Cunha, and if you can get Gyökeres, it's the dream. I don't think we're going to get Mbeumo, Cunha, Gyökeres because that would cost us 170 million. But if someone said sell Garnacho and you could afford those 3, I would go for those 3 because that is how you rebuild United's attack. And then you've got Cherki and then you've got Ahmad that can also go into that front line, which would be absolutely insane options. Bruno can play higher up. My dream, and it's not going to happen, is Belieber, it is Mbeumo, it is Gyökeres, it is Cunha. It is probably an 8 Nori coming in with another option at wing back. That is my dream window. Probably not going to happen. But one player that could happen because he's available for literally less than 20 million quid is Cherki. We've reported this in my live stream earlier that Cherki has confirmed he will be leaving Lyon. And Romano said he expects English clubs to return for Cherki. We don't know who's winning the race for Cherki because we know that if a player of his quality that's only 21 years of age is going to be available for 19 million, we know there's going to be a few teams in for Cherki. It's a great player, it's a great option, but we don't know who. There's been links to Liverpool, there's been links to Manchester United. We had a lot of links when we played Lyon, but was that because we were playing Lyon? There's been links to Arsenal, Tottenham. I think he could go to the Premier League, but I think it's very unknown where Cherki's going to go. I would prefer Mbeumo to Cherki, but if you can't get Mbeumo, which I don't think we will get Mbeumo as much as I want us to get Mbeumo and Cunha, I think if we miss out on Delap and Gyökeres, we could get Mbeumo and Cunha, but I think we will probably sign 2 attacks, not 3. We could maybe make a late move for Cherki. It'd be interesting to see, but United might just look at sales first. But I saw this tweet from Usman earlier, and he said Cunha 60 million, Gyökeres 55 million, Cherki 20 million. That's 135 million for a new front 3. That is fantastic business. And Mbeumo is the ideal guy, but that would be fantastic business. That's business that Man United fans have been waiting ages, absolutely ages, to do. Now, we have actually more updates on Mbeumo coming in from Mail Sport. They said United have inquired about Mbeumo, but they haven't said anything about a bid, which Forteas have said. And United see Mbeumo as one of the options for the 2 number 10 roles. And they have a suggestion that maybe United are going for 2 to 10s or 2 or 3 attackers. So one source says we've made a bid, another source said we've inquired. We do know he's a target. We do know there's a lot of Premier League clubs interested in him, Arsenal one being named. But they've also looked at Eze and Xavi Simons, who Eze had a poor first half of the season, but the second half of the season has been immense. He suits the system. Xavi Simons is only possible with Champions League football. But I'm really liking the names. Cherki, Eze, Xavi Simons, and Mbeumo, Cunha, Gyökeres. You know, questions around the lap, but he's going to be an improvement on Højlund. I like the names. And last but not least, we're just going to give you an update on Yoro. So, United's fan mentioned that Yoro and Dalot could be back for the final, but it's a risk. Amorim's got to make an assessment. Sully, who is probably the best guy when it comes to injury news and injury updates, said ahead of the Europa League final that he understands that Yoro has returned to grass training, which is good news, and that he's working super hard and the injury isn't seen as a serious from last week. So he's saying Yoro is training, he's working hard, it's not seen as serious, but it is a race against time. He's one of those, I think he will travel, but they might have to call it on the day, is he ready or not? But he's working really hard. He wants to be in that final. He played through the pain, but United don't want to do anything that's going to put Yoro out at the beginning of next season or risk him next season because of what a good player he is. But that's fantastic news in regards to Leny Yoro, that he could be back, because I really don't want to see Lindelof in the final. Even if Dalot's back and not Yoro, at least we can play Masraoui right centre back, so we don't have to worry about Lindelof. So I think that's good news. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for tuning into today's show. I'll be back tomorrow with a live show. Thank you for watching. Bye.